Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome back, learners. In the previous lecture, we had talked about the modern theories of money demand, and therein we had understood the Baumol-Tobin model, and we had said that in the next lecture, in this particular lecture that is, we will be talking about the Tobin's theory. So let us have a look as to what is this theory. The Tobin's theory is also called as Tobin's portfolio approach to money demand. As I told you in the last lecture, because of certain weaknesses and criticisms of Keynes' liquidity preference theory of money demand, these particular money demand theories have emerged. Primary reasons being that Keynes has said that transaction money demand was only related to income. But Baumol-Tobin model in the previous lecture we saw proved that it is not only the income but the rate of interest which people can earn on the money if they keep it in the banks or if they invest it, and the transaction cost which is involved with keeping money invested in any short-term instrument, in bond or in bank, will also determine that how much money people will keep in cash, and therefore the money demand. So two types of theories we had said broadly are the transaction theory, which is focused on the medium of exchange function of money, and hence the name of Baumol-Tobin theory is related to the transaction demand of money. The second theory we had said is with respect to the portfolio theory, and this particular theory emphasizes the store of value function. That is, it says that money itself can transfer purchasing power from one period to another period. Therefore, the emphasis is on the store of value function. So today we will be talking about in this lecture the portfolio theory given by Tobin. So portfolio, as the name you understand, learners, many of you must be aware of it. Portfolio is basically mix of any type of assets which we have. Monetary assets or non-monetary assets. These assets, a mix of those assets is known as portfolio. So Tobin's portfolio approach is taking the same concept and explaining that how the demand of money gets influenced by the portfolio diversification which the individual does. So according to Tobin, rational behavior of any individual will say that they should keep a portfolio of assets, a mix of assets, which consists both of bonds or saving bank accounts and cash. We say no that you should not keep all your eggs in the same basket. What does it mean? It means that we need to diversify our risk so that if something goes adverse, we do not lose everything that we have. Therefore, we should have a mix of assets. So this is what Tobin said, that unlike Keynes' theory, when we talked about the speculative demand theory of Keynes, what did he say in demand of money or speculation? He said that people look at the rate of interest and see that if the rate of interest is more, they will keep the money invested in the banks. Otherwise, they will keep it in cash if the rate of interest is less. So we have seen that speculative demand of money is inversely related with the rate of interest, and that was given by Keynes, and it was highly appreciated because that particular approach was superior to the approach which was given by the classical economics. But going further, Tobin said that people should ideally not only think about keeping either money in bonds or saving bank accounts or only in cash as money. They should ideally have a mix of both bonds and money. Why? Because if you keep idle cash, that is, if you keep all the cash in your hand without keeping it invested anywhere, it will give you zero income or zero interest. But it will also mean no risk to you. Because if you, for example, if you invest money in a bond or in a share, there is always a risk involved that you may not get back your money, or you may get less than what you had expected. So risk of default is there, as well as the risk because future is uncertain. We really can be 100% sure about it. But if you keep money in cash, that is idle cash, if you keep all your money in your almirah at home, that is safe because there is no risk. But it also means that there is zero income or interest. Secondly, bonds or the saving banks accounts or whatever saving instruments you choose for investment, they do give you certain interest income. They will give you certain appreciation, but they are also risky. We have just talked about risk can be of default, risk of can be of getting a late payment. So that risk is also there. So according to Tobin, and he says that any rational person would also prefer having more wealth to less. Anybody in the world you ask, do you like to be wealthy? Everybody would prefer having more wealth as compared to less wealth. So this is the assumption which Tobin is making, because he's basically talking about the rationality of the individuals. So he says a rational behavior, on one part, he says that people should always keep a portfolio of assets of both money and the bonds. That is, not everything in cash, not everything in bonds. You need to have a mix of both. That is what Tobin says, and why he says we will understand. He is also assuming that people are rational beings and they will always prefer more wealth to less wealth. So more wealth to less wealth is there. Going further, he says that individuals, while making a choice, that said, having said that it's always better to keep a mix of both cash and bonds. He says individuals are also always faced with the problem of dividing that how much money should I keep in cash and how much money should I keep in interest bearing assets like bonds. So they are faced with this problem. Why are they faced with this problem? Because if I assume that I let me keep all money in bonds, that would mean I am earning a lot of income. So my wealth will increase, but side by side my risk will also increase. So my return is increasing, return on investment is increasing, but the risk is also increasing. On the other hand, if you decide to keep all money in cash, your risk is nullified, but your returns are also nullified. Therefore, individuals, if I ask them that divide your money, divide whatever you have, some in cash and some in interest bearing assets, they will always have a problem in deciding that how much in both. Therefore, they diversify their portfolio by balancing the combination of safety and balancing the risky assets. That is, they will try to balance their risk and returns. Also, Tobin said that even though people say that we prefer more wealth to less wealth, but they also show that individuals are risk averse. What is risk aversion? Risk aversion means that they will not opt for risky assets with all risky bonds or greater proportion of them. That even though we are saying that people prefer more wealth to less wealth, but on the other hand, people are also risk averse. There is a certain human behavior which is involved, that somebody we say is a risk taker. Risk taker means he is willing to sacrifice a lot of future uncertainty because probably he is thinking of gaining a lot of return from that. But Tobin in his theory says that in general, if you see the behavior of the people are generally risk averse. That is, they will see that even if they are diversifying their portfolio by dividing their money in cash and in interest bearing assets, but they will not opt for a lot of risky assets. That is, lot of risky bonds will not have, or neither they will have a greater proportion of them. So, like Keynes, of course, Tobin says that liquidity preference is of course inversely related to the rate of interest. That is, he says that Keynes is right in saying that people will always see that what is the return that they are going to get and then decide that how much money they should keep in cash and how much money they need for speculation. But unlike Keynes, Tobin says that people are not sure about what is going to be the future rate of interest, which Keynes talked about, which Keynes did not talk about. So, even though there is an inverse relationship between the rate of interest and the amount which people want to hold as money, that is what both Keynes and Tobin are agreeing. But the basic difference between Keynes and Tobin is Tobin says that people are not very sure about that what is going to be the future rate of interest. Therefore, we are talking about this portfolio approach. No. So what is he saying with respect to this liquidity preference of rate of interest being inversely related? He says when the rate of interest is high, people change their portfolio to bonds and hold less cash. Why? Because the assumption that people want more wealth as compared to less wealth. So when the rate of interest is high, when people see that if they can earn more by investing in bonds, they will immediately change their portfolio, will hold less cash and will have more of bonds. On the other hand, when the rate of interest was low, he said that people will prefer to hold more cash and they will immediately reduce the number of bonds. Learners, this is the basic difference between what the Keynes says with respect to the speculative demand of money and what Tobin has to say. Keynes had just said, we had talked about it in the previous lecture also, that Keynes has focused that people will either keep money invested in bonds or they will keep it in cash. But Tobin said that depending on the what is the rate of interest, people who are having a mix of both interest bearing assets like bonds and cash, depending on what is the rate of interest, people will keep on changing their portfolio. If they feel that they see that the rate of interest is high, they will change their portfolio to having more of bonds because it will generate more wealth for them and will hold less cash. Does not mean that they will not hold cash. They will do hold cash, but the quantum of cash which they will hold when the rate of interest is more will be less. On the other hand, when the rate of interest is low, then they will prefer to hold more cash and reduce the number of bonds. Why is this happening? Is because people are not sure about the future rate of interest. So they are changing their preferences as per the rate of interest. So therefore, according to him, the asset demand for money, he has not named it as speculative demand of money, he has called it as asset demand of money, he says is inversely related to the rate of interest. So potentially both Keynes and Tobin are agreeing on this aspect that the rate of interest and the demand of money for the purpose of investment is inversely related. That is when people are talking about that how much apart from transaction the extra money as a store of value if I am keeping, how much money should I demand? Both of them are explicitly agreeing on the fact that the rate of interest is inversely related to how much money they will keep for the purpose of investment. But the difference in Keynes and Tobin's approaches that Keynes has only talked about the fact that he says that people will either keep money invested in bonds or they will keep away money for the demand money for in cash. Whereas Tobin says that it's a mix of both that people will have. Therefore, we are calling it as a portfolio approach. That is, people would like to have a mix. They will, of course, take a risk by investing in bonds. They are risk averse, but there are also people who would like to have more wealth compared to less wealth. So, let us understand this particular theory which we have been talking about with respect to a graph. We are talking about here, of course, we are talking about the real demand of money. Therefore, we have written is M divided by P demand. That is, it's a real demand of money. We are discounting for, we are taking into account the inflation. We have talked about extensively on this, that what is nominal, what is real, and how inflation has an impact on this. We have talked about the Fisher equation also in the previous unit of inflation about this. So going back to the Tobin's liquidity preference function, which he has explained while talking about the portfolio approach to the demand of money, he said that the real demand of money is a function of certain expected returns. What are those? Expected returns are S, which is expected return on stock or shares, as you may call it. Return on bonds, that is RB. And then pi E is your expected inflation rate. So according to Tobin, when people are determining their demand, liquidity demand or money demand for speculation or for investment or for liquidity, that is, he says it will be dependent on three things. One, how much can they expect the earnings from the returns by or if they invest in shares or stocks, that is represented by RS. Similarly, how much is the expected real return on bonds, that is how much are they expecting the return to be in bonds, and then what is their expected inflation rate, which is given by pi. One thing which you must have noticed here is that we have taken two types of financial assets here. We have talked about shares or stocks, which you say equity shares or preference shares, and we have also talked about bonds. That is, people when they're deciding that how much money they have to keep in cash and how much money they have to keep in investments, this is where again the portfolio approaches. That is, they're not only keeping money in one type of instrument or money creating or investment avenue. They are there exploring different avenues also. Something, for example, share is a little riskier than bonds. Bonds will give you fixed rate of interest, and they will also will be a less risky because they'll tell you that after so many years you will get back your money, will redeem away your bonds. Whereas shares are something whose value, you see the share market, the value of one share will change every day. So you really don't know that when you buy share and when you sell share, what will be the value of that share when you sell it. You buy it in a view of having a capital appreciation, but nobody can guarantee you that this will be the rate at which your equity share will be sold back. So shares are riskier, but they may be giving a more return to you, whereas bonds are less riskier. So here diversification of portfolio again is focused upon. So the demand of money, he says, is a function of the return which people are expecting on more risky asset, that is stocks or shares. Less riskier assets come as that is return on bonds. And of course, we are not talking about money because this is cash which is least risky. This is whose demand we are estimating. So he says this depends on how much people are going to get from shares, how much return people are going to get from bonds, and what is going to be the expected rate of inflation, because your inflation rate will also erode away the value of the cash which you are going to keep. So your store of value function will get changed when the rate of inflation is different from the actual rate of inflation. We have talked about it in Phillips curve lecture also, about what is expected inflation rate and what is actual inflation rate. So when see, this is because Tobin's focus is on store of value. Money as a store of value. That is, money in itself will store value for you. More inflation would mean that the value of your money will reduce. So these are the things which have an impact on the money demand. And if you see this panel, this graph we see, it is talking about the rate of interest on the y-axis and the asset demand of money, which Tobin has said, that is your portfolio demand of money on the x-axis. You see the curve is downward sloping. What does it mean? It means that when the rate of interest is more, the asset demand for money is less. When rate of interest is less, the asset demand for money is more. You must be recalling a similar curve which we made when we talked about the speculative demand of money by Keynes. he has also said when the rate of interest is more, instead of asset demand, what did we write there? We talked about speculative demand of money. These were the two things which we were comparing when we did the Keynes function. So rate of interest and speculative demand of money was compared in Keynes, but in Tobin, we are comparing rate of interest with the asset demand of money. And that demand of or liquidity preference curve for money demand is downward sloping here also, which means when your expected returns in form of interest from bonds or in form of returns which you expect from shares, if it is high, people will demand less money as cash. So asset demand, that is money demanded as a store of value, its demand will reduce. Whereas if the returns expected from any choice of assets in which people have invested in, like shares or in bonds or like fixed deposits or saving bank accounts, so whatever mixed portfolio they have of various assets, money bearing assets, if their returns is less, people will not like to keep that money in your invested in these instruments. Rather, they would like to have that money as cash. So that is your asset demand function. So Tobin's liquidity preference function is different from Keynes in the sense that, again I repeat here, it is different because one, it is doing away with the limitation of Keynes' speculative motive demand of money. What was the limitation of Keynes' speculative demand of money? The limitation was that he only said that people will either keep their money in cash for speculation or they will keep it invested. Whereas Dobbins has said that we are talking about a situation where people are keeping a mix of money and mix of interest bearing or money bearing assets. So it is doing away with this limitation of having either or. It is talking about a mix of all, therefore it is portfolio approach. Second, as we just said, Tobin's approach shows that individuals simultaneously hold both money and bonds. But the proportion of money and bond may change when the rate of interest changes. We have seen that. When the rate of interest changes, it is high. People would like to take away money which they have kept in cash and invest it in bonds. When rate of interest is low, they will disinvest from bonds and keep money in cash. So instead of holding it in a similar way, they keep on changing their portfolio depending on what is the rate of interest which they are going to earn on bonds if you're just taking bonds. So his approach shows that individuals simultaneously hold both money and bonds, which was absent in Keynes speculative motive money demand. Also, they say that this proportion of the money and bonds will also keep on changing when the rate of interest changes. So at different rate of interests, there will be a different proportion of money and bonds. And we just saw that Tobin's this particular portfolio approach yields results in a continuous liquidity preference curve wherein we are taking rate of interest on the y-axis and asset demand of money on the x-axis. So it is downward sloping, showing an inverse relationship between both rate of interest and asset demand of money. This model, see, there is a lot of empirical work which has been done on this model. This model has been extended to the problem of asset choice when there are several alternative assets and not just two, that is money and bonds. For example, if you are given a choice that, okay, tell me how much money should I keep as cash, how much money should I invest in gold, how much money should I invest in my fixed deposit, how much money should I invest in bonds, how much money should I have in shares, probably because greater diversification you want. Diversification of portfolio means more different type of money generating assets you are keeping to have money as a store of value. So this particular model does not only restrict itself to two types of assets, that's money and bond, but can be extended to many various types of alternative assets. as we just said. So that's the beauty of this model, and it is very well empirically tested, particularly in your BCom honors course that you are doing. You will be talking about financial management. There you will see similar model, this model being extended for in your financial management. So learners, this is what we have understood till now. Now let us just give your brains a little jig. Let's test whatever we have learned. First question for you is for the Baumol-Tobin analysis that we have done. The question is, the Baumol-Tobin analysis, what does it suggest? I'm giving you a few options. Think about these options and then we'll see the answer. The Baumol-Tobin analysis suggests what? First, the transaction component of the demand of money is negatively related to the level of interest rates. That is, the transaction demand of money is getting impacted negatively by the rate of interest. That's the first option. Second, the speculative motive is non-existent. Does Baumol-Tobin analysis suggest that speculative motive is non-existent? Think. Third, both A and B, that is Baumol-Tobin talks about transaction component as well as speculative component. I will repeat the question again. What does Baumol-Tobin analysis suggest? 1. The transaction component of the demand for money is negatively related to the level of interest rates. That is, Baumol-Tobin is talking about that the transaction component is getting affected by the rate of interest negatively. That is your first option. Second option is the speculative motive is non-existent. And third, both A and B are true. What should be the answer? The answer is A. Why? Because you've just seen that Baumol-Tobin analysis is a transaction theory. It is talking about that how transaction demand of money is not only related to income, but it is also related to the rate of interest. So if you could solve it, wonderful. If you could not, go through this lecture again. Next question. This is based on the Tobin's portfolio approach which we have done. Tobin's model of the speculative demand for money improves on Keynes' analysis by showing what? Tobin's model of portfolio or speculative demand of money is an improvement on the Keynes analysis by showing what? First, the transaction demand for money is interest insensitive. That is, transaction demand is not impacted by interest. Second, transaction demand for money. Sorry, this should not be he, this should be the. The speculative demand for money is interest insensitive. That is, transaction demand of money is not having and not getting impacted by interest. Third, people will hold a diversified portfolio. People will have a portfolio which is diversified. Fourth, people will hold both money or bonds but not both. What did Tobin say? How did Tobin improve on this model of Keynes? By saying the point 3 that people will hold a diversified portfolio which was absent in case of Keynes. So let us quickly summarize both the lectures of theories of demand of money. We had said that transaction and portfolio theory of money demand tackles the main drawback of Keynes' speculative demand of money, that talks about people holding their assets in either money or only in bonds. Also, it tackles the drawback that transaction demand of money is only related to income. We have seen the Baumol-Tobin square root rule, which showed that it is not only Y, but the transaction cost and the interest rate also determining the optimal money demand. Then Baumol-Tobin model postulated that money demand depends positively on spending, that is why your income or the transactions which you are making, and also positively related to your transaction cost, that is the cost of transaction. and it is negatively related to the rate of interest. You can go back and see the square root rule of Baumol-Tobin. And then Tobin theory posits that money demand depends on risk return of money and the alternative assets, whereas he keeps a focus on the portfolio demand of money instead of the Keynes approach of only bonds or only money. So that is these are the new theories of money demand which have come up after the Keynes theory. I hope you have understood these theories and enjoyed learning them. Stay happy, stay safe.